Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is November 1st, and right now we're looking at the visible/infrared satellite imagery. You can see California is right here. Our next system is out here. It's going to bring some rainfall to the northern half of some of the state of California. Better amounts the further you go across some of the northwest portions of California. Storm track will be pointed to the Pacific Northwest, but the models do show a potentially active period coming here for some portions of California as well. We'll take a look at that and dive into it as we go through the models this morning. If you take a closer look here across California, you can see the marine layers just pretty much non-existent all the way up and down the coastline. Still have some offshore winds, although they have lightened up from what they have been the last couple of days. And I'm getting questions about this. So if you guys want to join and help monetarily support the page, there's that join button right there. I just clicked on my El Nino video here. And if you go down there and click on that join button there, it'll bring up some options there if you want to help support the page. No pressure at all. Now, taking a look at this day in SoCal weather history. Look at this. Santa Ana recorded 2.9 inches of rain, the city's greatest daily rainfall for November back in 1927. And in the 60s here, had some pretty warm temperatures out there as well. In 2003, look at this, a large water spout between Laguna Beach and Catalina Island out there. And it was the first day of measurable rain in San Diego after 181 consecutive days of no measurable rainfall there. So yeah, it can be pretty dry over the summer months here. And finally put an end to that at the month of November. And hopefully something similar will occur here as we start to get some systems into the area. And these little spots out here are some fire activity. So if you do smell smoke around there, there still are some small fires, no major firestorms or anything like that going on right now. But this windy app kind of shows you the offshore winds across some of Southern California. Even the Bay Area is still blowing. But you can see the next system approaching out here off to the northwest as the southerlies arriving with the next system. Now, taking a look at this, Los Angeles, California, talk about the last 24-hour wind summary. You can see Booty Mountain out there, 52 miles per hour. Magic Mountain, 83 miles per hour there. There's still some interesting gusts happened yesterday. You can see Simi Valley, 60 miles per hour there. Browns Canyon, 63. And as you scroll down here, you can see Santa Cruz Island, 51 miles per hour. Let's see any other good gusts. Sandberg, Interstate 5 corridor, 56 miles per hour. So yeah, nice Santa Ana wind event there, and things were wrapping up a bit yesterday as well. So we had some pretty good gusts over the last few days. Storm total precipitation. This is the 1st through the 7th. This is Sacramento, California. You can see, look at Eureka, 4 to 6 inches. The rain is coming, folks. At Redding, 2 to 3 inches. Some nice amounts across some of the northern Sierra Nevada here. Placerville, Lakeport, Fort Bragg, 3 to 4 inches, and perhaps even a quarter of an inch to a half an inch here for San Francisco. And we'll look at the weather models because there is some disagreement on just how far south some of these systems are going to dive. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. And this is that weekend rain, kind of showing the Bay Area and how far this extends south. But there is potential here on it through the next week or so for precipitation to fall further south than this also. And don't forget to fall back, set your clocks back 1 hour. That's coming up here November 5th here this Sunday at 2 a.m. And if you want a nice, affordable home weather station, click on that link down below to save 10% off. It's always more interesting to watch the weather when you've got one of these attached to your place of residence. Now, looking at the daily 2-meter max temperature on the National Planet models. This will be for today. You can see some nice, comfortable temperatures out there. Some nice general warmth. But as we go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, notice things start to cool down a little bit here as we bring the potential for some systems in here. And as we go through the early portion of next week, you see a lot of the valley areas cooling down to the 60s here. Wednesday is something similar there. Then maybe a little bit of a bounce back towards the end of that. But really, this is a national blended model, so it's going to be a smoothed out average here. So right now, we are looking to cool down as we go on in through next week with the potential for some of these troughs to move towards the state of California and the West Coast. Now, starting to look at that, this is the European on the left. This is yesterday afternoon's run versus the GFS on the right. So it's the European model versus the American model. And we're looking at 18,000 feet. And you can see the general trough and ridge position here. And there's the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom right. If I didn't mention that, there's the state of California. Put it into motion here, and you can see the initial system move into the Pacific Northwest here. And then you can see the system start to roll towards California as we go on in through this weekend. Then you can see this trough starting to carve out a little bit further south here, especially on the European also as we go on into the early portion of next week, cooling things down. As you can see, this trough setting up shop here across a lot of the West Coast. And the European brings an interesting system here on through the extended forecast as well. You can see this one digging pretty far south. Could bring some precipitation down to southern portions of California even as well. And you can see the GFS showing some kind of troughing going on in this time frame as well. And it depends on the trajectory of this. Will this be an inside slider trough where the trough kind of carves out across much of the west here, or will it dive down across Pacific Ocean and bring better precipitation chances? That's what we're going to be watching here over the next few days. Now, taking a look at excuse me, what yesterday afternoon's European run would mean precipitation-wise. So we'll put this into motion, and you can see the initial system coming in as we go through tomorrow morning, mainly Northern California, maybe some light precipitation, trying to get down towards the Bay Area by Friday morning, but not too much. And then we've got the next system hot on its heels as we go through the weekend as well, bringing some precipitation amounts. And then another system as we go through Sunday night into Monday. And this one could spread some precipitation a bit further south across some of the Sierra Nevada, including the Bay Area, even a little bit further south. And as we go on into the future a bit more, you can see the European continues to bring systems into California. Some snow for the Sierra Nevadas here, maybe even some of the central and southern Sierra Nevada. Some precipitation trying to get down towards Southern California, not quite making it on the latest run, but we'll be watching that over the next few days. And then another strong storm as we go towards the end of next week here off the coastline. They're potentially bringing more precipitation here. So a lot to look at here over the next couple 10-day period here, but we really don't have much consistency with the models just yet. So something we have to watch day by day before we can really start to expect some of these storms to roll in here. We're just got to watch and kind of get some model agreement before we get too caught up in exact details a week plus out. Now, taking a look at the European 24-hour precipitation total, you can see this across Northern California. Generally missing the Bay Area, it looks like on yesterday afternoon's European run here. Next storm, you can see it start to bring some heavier amounts for Northern California, and that one could potentially bring some interesting amounts here for some of the Bay Area. Some of this area showing up in the blue there would be up over half an inch of rain in a 24-hour period. Bigger amounts, of course, across the higher terrain, kind of an atmospheric river-looking feature there. And then the next system after that, the European wants to keep them coming into the west coast here, and then even another one after that. So something fun to watch here over the next 10 days. That's as far as the European deterministic run goes out. This is 7-day precipitation, and you can see Eureka 4.6, again, kind of highlighting the fact that that cutoff is going to be somewhere near the Bay Area, but it does show about a half an inch for San Francisco, and quickly gathering more as you go northbound. You can see Fort Bragg 3.5, Yuba City 1.4, Redding over 2 inches as well. And here we go with the 6 to 10-day temperature probability outlook, generally above average here across much of the west, and also kind of flirting with some portions of Southern California maybe as we go through the November 10th timeframe here. Cross your fingers and we can get some precipitation down across the region here. This is the drought monitor here. Nothing changed for California, just a couple abnormally dry areas, but no drought currently for the state of California. Nevada doing pretty well too. Arizona, kind of a mixed bag there, and some extreme drought does exist. And New Mexico has some areas of exceptional drought as well. This is looking at California. So you can see kind of the vegetation doing pretty well here. This is the Vegetation Drought Response Index. And this you can see across a lot of Southern California, the vegetation is doing quite well. But once you get about central Northern California, you can see there is some stress to the vegetation out there. Some moderate drought and some pre-drought stress is existent out there. And you can actually zoom in a bit further here as well if it'll let me click. There you go. You can kind of see Southern California. And we start to move across some of the valley areas. Some of the coastal range here has been a little bit of abnormally dry for the last few months as well. But you can see the Sierra Nevada doing quite well. Very moist to some extremely moist conditions up there. So good to see that. That's helped out with the fire danger here as we've gone through summer and the fall so far. And you can see kind of a mixed bag here across some of the central Sierra Nevada here. And there'd be Lake Tahoe. And you can kind of see back and forth between some drought and some unusually moist conditions. And then you go to Northern California and you can see it is not quite as good. But the good news is we're going to be getting systems up here for sure over the next few days, bringing some precipitation that'll start to help out with that vegetation up there. This is the monthly drought outlook here, and you can see nothing expected to develop here as we go through November, and you can kind of see the drought persisting across Arizona, New Mexico, and a little bit of Nevada there also. And this was issued yesterday as well. So this is the entire month of November. You can see the above average signal for much of the Southwest here for the month of November 2023. And this is the precipitation, does include the northern half of California, kind of cuts off right there by the Bay Area, but that doesn't mean no rainfall for Southern California. That just means equal chances as of right now. So that was put out yesterday by the Climate Prediction Center. So yeah, interesting stuff here coming up. I'm interested to see what the European this afternoon shows, or this morning's run of the European shows by the time it gets out towards the noon hour here, and see if it continues to show some of these systems. Because as you saw, if the European trends correctly, or if it verifies, that's going to bring some interesting precipitation here and some storms into the state of California. But right now we don't have great model agreement on that, and it's just looking a little bit too far out in the future. So something fun for us to watch in the next few days. So anyway, yeah, if you guys want to help support the channel, click that join button down below. And if you want one of those weather stations, make sure to click in the box down below to get 10% off. That weather station is quite nice, and it's a very good alternative to spending much more than $1,000. You know, you can get this one for about $300 and change with the tax. And if you want like an expensive weather station, some of those can run you up over $1,500. So it's a very good option. I've been testing it against those weather stations as well, and it's doing extremely well. The thermometer is nice. It's got a UV index sensor on it as well. It's all ultrasonic, solar powered, no batteries, easy to set up, and the smartphone app is great as well. But anyway, hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Channel's doing great so far. Probably a live stream coming here, especially if the models start to trend towards a stormier pattern here for California. I will do a live stream for sure, but I'm looking at doing one here maybe today or tomorrow. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.